What's up, everyone? Mr. Octagonal here from Octagonal Gaming. Now we're back with the Week 11 now NFL predictions. This season has flown by. This will be the last week with buys. I believe 4 teams have buys. There are supposed to be 6, but with the Hurricanes earlier in the season, Bucs and Dolphins don't have a bye. So last week I actually did really well. I only went 9-5 and got, I believe, 88 points, and I was actually confident. Like, when I'm not confident, I do good. And when I am confident, I do bad. So, last week I was confident I did good. This week I'm not as confident. And I might do bad. Hopefully I don't. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. If you guys are new to the series and don't know how this works, we obviously pick every game, but we go above and beyond. That's how the point system works. So, let's say we have the Bucs and the Packers. And I think the Bucs are going to win, but I'm not super confident. I'm going to give them a lower number, like a 1. The Bucs want to get 1 point. Packers want to get 0 points. Let's say we have the Broncos and the Chargers, and I'm really confident that the Broncos are going to win, but I'm going to pick the Broncos with a higher number, like a 14. We'll use each number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc. And, yeah, so if the team I pick wins, I get that many points, and if the other team wins, I get 0 points. So first, we have the Texans and Cardinals. If Deshaun Watson was healthy, probably be pick of the Texans with, like, at least a 12. But I am picking the Texans. I'm picking them with only a 1. I think Tom Savage's Texans are better than the current Cardinals with all their injuries. I think it's very debatable. I think this is going to be an extremely sloppy game that no one wants to watch. And I won't blame anyone who does not want to watch this game. But I do think the Texans will win this game. I think both teams should tank because I really don't see the Cardinals making the playoffs. Seahawks and Rams are looking good in that division. And the Texans, they really can't do without Deshaun Watson, but I do think they're going to win this game, but I'm only picking them with 1. Okay, so the Texans-Cardinals is not very enticing, but this game is. Rams and Vikings. Both teams are 7-2 in Minnesota. I'm rooting for the Rams because, I want the Lions to get higher and higher. And then on Thanksgiving, we play the Vikings again. Last year, we won. Thanks to Darius Slay's big interception and Matt Prater's game-winning field goal. That game was really fun. But I am picking the Rams to win this game simply because of the whole quarterback controversy in Minnesota with Teddy Bridgewater now active, Sam Bradford's on IR. I think the Vikings shouldn't fix anything that isn't broke. Nobody else saying don't fix anything if it ain't broke. And I think Case Keenum's doing well. I think they should stick with Keenum. Bridgewater's probably going to play. I think they should plug in Bridgewater this season if they're up by a lot or down by a lot in like the fourth quarter. See how he's doing. Because the Vikings, he is on a contract year. The Vikings didn't give him a 5th-year option. So he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. I think he's going to be unrestricted. So that's pretty important. But I don't fix anything that ain't broke. And I definitely do see Case Keenum starting somewhere next year. He's looked good this year. If he's not starting, he's definitely going to play somewhere. Because he's looked very solid this year. But I do think the Rams are going to win this game. Rams have looked really good. Now we got the Broncos and Bengals. The Bengals were a team I've picked to make the playoffs because I'm stupid. And the Broncos have been just disgusting lately. They started off 3-1. I don't think they've won since. And I think their losing streak will continue. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this game. I picked the Bengals last week against the Titans. Didn't work. I don't know how the Titans are 6-3. I think they're 6-3. That team has not looked like a 6-3 team. I think the Jaguars are 6-3 too. The Jaguars have looked way better than the Titans. The Titans have not. The Titans have been extremely sloppy. No clever 6-3, but the Broncos, I don't care who's starting at quarterback, especially if it's Brock Osweiler, because Brock Osweiler was trash. I think the Bengals are going to win, and the Broncos are just going to keep on losing. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins. This game was supposed to be played week 1, but due to the Hurricanes, this game was canceled. And it was going to be played in, like, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. But since both teams had a Week 11 bye, they figured both teams could just skip their bye week and play then. So basically, the Bucs and the Dolphins had a Week 1 bye week, which is kind of sad. And both teams have underperformed, especially the Bucs, who did beat the Jets, but the Bucs have not looked good. I am going to pick the Dolphins to win this game with 4. I think the Dolphins have more on the line than the Bucs. Actually, I feel like the Bucs do, because not every team can make the playoffs. So I guess the Bucs do. Just the Bucs would be losing, because I think they'd want to lose so they could get a good player. But I'm picking the Dolphins with a 4. Good old mini recap. I'm picking the Texans with a 1, the Rams with a 2, the Bengals with a 3, the Dolphins with a 4. And now we have the Packers and Ravens. At Lambeau, the Packers just beat the Bears last week in Chicago. And I do think the Ravens are going to win this game. I think the Ravens are better than the Aaron Rodgers Packers. I'm not saying the Ravens are a good team. The Ravens, let's look at the Lions' schedule for 1 second. Sorry I'm talking about my team all the time, but the Lions' second hardest game this season, the rest of this season, is at Baltimore. Baltimore's not that good. So, yeah, I'm saying the Lions' schedule is really easy. But anyway, pick up the Ravens with a 5. I think they have a very solid defense. Joe Flacco, or whoever's the quarterback, because is Joe Flacco hurt? I'm not entirely sure. I don't watch Ravens games because I actually care about myself. So yeah, picking the Ravens with a 5. I have the Chargers and Bills. The Chargers are not an awful team. I believe they're 3-6, which makes sense. That's basically a description of them and the Saints for the past 5 years. Just the Saints magically starting winning this year. And the Bills are making a quarterback change. They've benched Tyrod Taylor for rookie Nathan Peterman. I guess they think their season's lost, even though they're 5-4 and have a shot for the wild card. Which I do see Tyrod Taylor starting next year, not in Buffalo, but I do see him starting. Maybe Jacksonville would make sense because the Jaguars are a good team. They just don't have a good quarterback because Blake Bortles. I think that with the Jaguars, if the Jaguars had a good quarterback, they'd be Super Bowl contenders. I am picking the Chargers to win this game. I think Peterman's a solid player, but in LA, I think the Chargers are not much worse than the Bills at all, and I do think the Chargers will win. Now we have the Seahawks and Falcons. The Seahawks have been a weird team the past few weeks. They did get a long week because of Thursday Night Football, and I think this game's going to be on Monday night as well. I'm not entirely sure. And the Falcons have been really inconsistent this year, but they've come out a great one against Dallas. Those are like 34-7, 27-7. Yeah, Dallas got smacked in the butthole. But I'm still not confident enough in the Falcons to pick them. So I'm picking the Seahawks with a 7. I know they lost Richard Sherman last week, but they're coming off a long week, which is good for them. And I think they're better than the Falcons. Adrian Claiborne, who's not insanely good for the Falcons, had 6 sacks last week. Don't ask me how. I don't think Joey Bosa has ever gotten that in the Chargers series, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, picking the Seahawks with a 7. So, mini recap, I'm picking the Dolphins with a 4, the Ravens with a 5, the Chargers with a 6, and the Seahawks with a 7. And now we got my favorite team, the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears. I'm very biased with picking. I'm picking the Lions with an 8. The Bears at Soldier Field, that's not a game I want to take for granted. I think the Packers somehow won in Soldier Field last week. But I think we should win this game. We're better than the Bears. But this is a game I don't want to take for granted. This is a losable game for us and a winnable game for the Bears. But I do think we should win. I think we should keep on rolling. 3-game win streak. And then hopefully we can keep our momentum against the Vikings on Thanksgiving. If we can beat the Vikings, beat the Bears, and the Vikings lose to the Rams, and we'd have the lead on the division after Thanksgiving. Or no, wait. Yeah, we would, because both teams would be 7-4. And we'd have a tiebreaker because we beat them both times. So yeah, Bears, Jordan Howard's a great player. Not great enough to beat the Lions, so I'm picking us with an 8. The Tennessee Titans and Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe this is on tonight for Thursday Night Football. And I may be picking the Steelers a little high, but as I've said before, the Titans should not be 6-3. They've looked like at best a 4-5, probably a 3-6 team. I don't think they've looked that good this year. I think they've looked sloppy. They've been lucky. They almost lost to the frickin' Browns. I mean, we technically almost did too. That was an ugly win, but a win's a win. And the Steelers, they've looked good this year. Picking them with a 9. Steelers have been the Steelers this year, and that's a good thing for them. Now we have the Raiders and Patriots. This game's actually going to be played in Mexico, which is pretty cool. But regardless where this game is played, it's not going to change my pick. I'm picking the Patriots of a 10. Raiders have looked sloppy too this year. I like the Raiders a lot. They're my second favorite team. They've been my second favorite team since last year. But they've just looked extremely sloppy. The Patriots, I believe the Patriots are coming off a bye week. So, yeah, they had plenty of time to rest up. And Patriots are going to win this game. Spoiler alert. Recap and picking my Detroit Lions with an 8. Pittsburgh Steelers with a 9, and the New England Patriots with a 10. Now you have the Eagles and Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Of course, the Cowboys don't have Zeke. Their offense did not look good last week against the Falcons defense, which isn't great. They do have, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the NFL, and Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's a coach who I absolutely love. Excellent defensive-minded coach. And the Falcons have many solid young pieces on defense, like Desmond Trufant, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley, DeAndre Campbell, my boy Keanu Neal, Jalen Collins, Ricardo Allen, Brian Poole, Tack McKinley. And the Cowboys just looked ugly. I mean, Adrian Claiborne was the star of that game. And I think the Eagles train will keep on rolling, or should I say it's going to keep on flying. Get it? Because wings, Eagles. Pick of the Eagles with an 11. This may be a little bit high because the Cowboys are a solid team, but they've not looked insane. They did not look good without Zeke. Has Zeke played every game minus that game this year? I think he has. I thought he's missed a few games here and there, but I'm confused with this whole Zeke thing. It's extremely annoying. This whole Zeke suspension makes no damn sense. None at all. But I beg of the Eagles with an 11 regardless. So I'm maybe a little bit harsh on the Redskins. 2 weeks ago, I picked against the Redskins with a very high number against the Seahawks. Redskins screwed me over and won. But I'm going to do it again this week against the New Orleans Saints. I'm picking the Saints with a 12. I think the Saints are going to make it out of the NFC at this point. I think at this point it's going to be them and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I might be wrong. We're only 10 weeks into the year, so anything's possible. But the Saints have not lost since week 2. I think Drew Brees has debatably been a top 3 MVP candidate. He's been not talked about a lot by a lot of people. Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara in their backfield has been great. Mark Ingram has had a career year. Alvin Kamara has had a great rookie year. And on the defense, their defense has been good too. Marshawn Lattimore has been debatably the best cornerback in the NFL. I've probably mentioned this before, but there are some statistics on Pro Football Focus that quarterbacks do better throwing the ball, like spiking it, or throwing it out of bounds, than throwing it to the receiver that Marshawn Lattimore's covering. Yeah, that's how good that kid is. I thought the Titans should have picked him at 5. I thought he was a top 5 or 6 player in this draft. And all those teams who passed up on him are regretting it, except for the Browns, because they took Garrett. Maybe the Jaguars. I think Solomon Thomas and the 49ers. I don't think the Niners regret that. The Mitchell Trubisky's good. But a lot of those teams probably regret passing up on him at this point. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are kind of pumped because Jaguar safety Deshaun Gibson was trash-mouthing Cleveland because he used to play for Cleveland and he was a really good player for them. He made the Pro Bowl, but he left. I don't blame him. And the Browns players are pumped. But, yeah, it's not good enough. I think the Jaguars will win this game pretty convincingly. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Hugh Jackson gets fired in the near future. I know Hugh Jackson seems like perfect for Cleveland, but one win in the past season and a half. What are they, 1-24? Yeah, I don't think Hugh Jackson's going to stay on that team for long. I'd be surprised if he has a job at the end of the season. And staying with the next coach we're going to be talking about in just a minute, but picking the Jaguars with a 13. Last mini recap, I'm picking the Eagles with an 11, the Saints with a 12, the Jaguars with a 13. And now you have the Chiefs and the Giants. You know how I said there'd be another coach about to talk about in a minute? Yeah, how does Ben McAdoo have a job? I don't know how. The Giants just lost to the 49ers, and the Niners beat them pretty convincingly as well. Don't ask me how that happened. And meanwhile, the Chiefs have looked very good. I mean, the past, month or so, they've been on a down stretch. I believe they've lost 3 of their last 4, but they're coming off a bye week, and they're definitely the better team than the Giants. So I'm picking the Chiefs with a 14. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave me any agreements, disagreements in the comments. And hopefully I'll have extra videos out today. I think I'll have at least 3 because you guys are all good. I'm out. Peace.